I'm Bill Peavy, and I was in the class of 1965 at the United States Air Force Academy, assigned to CS-24. What you're looking at right now is a screenshot of Microsoft Windows 7 Professional, showing my desktop with a few things superimposed on it for purposes of our demonstration. The desktop wallpaper file showing the Academy Chapel is available from the AOG website at usafa.org. There are two photos of myself superimposed on the left side. One at far left is my dually photo as it appeared in the 1962 Polaris. The one to the right was taken in 2002. The march of time is quite apparent. There's also a certificate file showing on the desktop at upper right. It's my own personal certificate, accompanied by a green explanatory caption. It's what yours should look like when you get it, but it'll have your own name and squadron number, and of course there'll be no green caption. This video will walk you through the procedure for installing an SSL certificate for use by Mozilla Firefox. The demo was built using the Professional Edition of Windows 7, but the same techniques should apply for all editions of Windows Vista, Windows 7, and Windows 8. If you're running on Windows 2000 or Windows XP, then you'll have to use Firefox as your browser, because these Windows versions lack full support for our SSL certificates. If you're planning on using Internet Explorer, Apple's Safari, or Google's Chrome as your web browser, then you need to stop and look at the video for Internet Explorer, which addresses these browsers. An SSL certificate is actually a specially encrypted data file that vouches for your identity when you visit the class website, and it allows you to enter the restricted areas of the site that only classmates should have access to. To protect your privacy, we control this access carefully. You should have received your certificate file via email, and to make things as simple as possible, you should save it to your desktop just as you see on this screenshot. This isn't mandatory, but if you do it this way, it'll allow you to mimic the walkthrough steps exactly. If you haven't yet received the email with your personal certificate attached, please contact your squadron reps to give him the email address so he can send you what you need. Click on the Squadron Reps button on the home page of the site to get his contact information. We insist on a telephone call because we want to make sure you're really a classmate before giving out the certificate password. Your squadron rep should never send your certificate password by plain text email. If this happens, please notify Tom Browder ASAP so he can replace your certificate with a secure one. As you'll see later on in the demo, the certificate cannot be installed without the proper password. When you receive your password, it'd be a good idea to type it into a text document so you can copy and paste it later when you need to furnish it for the certificate import dialogues. This will likely prevent a lot of typos that we all make on occasion. As shown on the desktop, the file is named CS-your squadron number your first name your surname followed by period P as in Papa 12. If you don't see the .p12 at the end, don't worry, we just need to set your folder options correctly. We'll address this shortly. If you can successfully install the certificate and check it out, you'll be able to access the areas of the website that are restricted to classmates. By the way, you'll want to keep your personal certificate and its password in a safe place against the possibility of having to reinstall it at some time in the future. Should you dispose of your PC in the future, please remove your personal certificate before doing so. This is a security measure. If you're unable to remove your certificate, please notify your squadron rep or Tom Browder ASAP so it can be voided. This is to make sure your credentials aren't fraudulently used by someone else. You'll be issued a replacement certificate upon request. If you're ready, then let's go on. Let's start by setting your folder options so you can see the file extensions. To begin, click Start. Now you'll want to click on Control Panel. This is the way Windows 7's control panel looks right out of the box. click on that category button. As you can see in the example, let's change that view by to small icons. Now we see the control panel the way it's more useful. Notice the yellow highlighter around the applet folder options. We want to open that one now. When the folder options dialog opens up, click on the View tab. Normally, Windows has checked the highlighted yellow option there that says Hide Extensions for Known File Types. We want it unchecked. By unchecking it, you'll be able to see the extensions of the files like the .p12 on your certificate file. So if it's checked, please clear the checkbox. Okay, this is what the option looks like after you've unchecked it. You can now click Apply button down at the bottom and then the OK to close this dialog. If the Apply button is grayed out, it simply means that you didn't have to change the options, so go straight to the OK button and click that. You can now close the control panel. Okay, the first thing we need to do is to get Firefox started. You can do this by double-clicking on the icon for Firefox on your desktop, or you can go to the All Programs list, or you can do what I do, which is click on the icon for Firefox, which is on my taskbar, the quick launch bar to Windows 2000 and Windows XP users. The first thing we need to do after Firefox gets started is to open up the Tools menu. We need to click on Options in the Tools menu. This opens up the Options dialog box. Click on the Advanced glyph at the far right of this dialog, which changes the dialog as you can see below. Click on the Encryption tab, which shows you a modified display as below. Notice the area that I've highlighted in yellow. Under Protocols, we want to make sure that the Use SSL 3.0 box is checked and that the Use TLS 1.0 box is checked. Under Certificates, we want to make sure that Select One automatically is checked. Then you can click the View Certificates button, the leftmost of the four buttons. Now you see the display of all the certificates that identify you. Now if your certificate has already been installed, you'll need to delete it so you can reinstall it. Otherwise you'll get a failure. When you're ready, click on the Import button. This makes the open dialog appear, such as you see on this screen. It should already be pointing at the desktop, but if it's not, make it so, or wherever you stored your certificate file, assuming that you put it someplace else. You should have PKCS12 files showing in the bottom right of the screen, right above the Open button. If not, then your certificate won't show up, and you'll need to use the pull-down list and make it so. When you got that done and you're pointing to the proper folder, your certificate file should appear among all the other things in that folder. Okay, select your certificate file and see its file name appear in the file name box down at the bottom. At this point, click the Open button. Now you see a dialog asking for the password for your certificate. You can't install it without the password, and you must have gotten that from your squadron rep by phone. And you should have written it down carefully so that you could type it in again on need. Now if you did like I suggested in the very beginning and typed your password into a text file, you can now copy it and paste it into the password dialog entry there in the password box. Otherwise, you're going to have to type it pretty carefully. When you've done that, you should see the usual wipeout little dots filling up the password spaces that you typed. When you're done, click OK. If you typed in your password properly and it matches, then you should see the dialog alert box that shows up on the screen in front of you. If so, click OK. That tells you that you've actually installed a certificate. If you had trouble with this and you're not sure your password is correct, then get back in touch with your squadron rep and check signals and make sure that you didn't have a transcription error. Now, as you see, you have a certificate stored. It'll have your name instead of mine and indicates that you should be all right to get into the website. So you can click the OK button. Now you can click the OK button one more time. Okay, now you're back at the first screen of Firefox. I recommend that you close Firefox right now so that all the changes you made are properly registered. To test your results, open Firefox one more time and go up to the address bar. Alright, type in the address of the website just like you've always done and hit enter. Okay, once the class website is displayed, go ahead and click the Classmates Only button there on the quick links. When you see the Restricted Area Ahead screen, go down to the lower left and click the Enter Restricted Area button. You should get a screen like this one, and you can click on the link that's pointed to by the green balloon. If you get the screen that says click on a classmate's name to see available data, then you can rest assured that your personal SSL certificate has been properly installed in Firefox. This concludes the demonstration for installation of the certificate in Firefox. Should you wish to use Internet Explorer or Google Chrome or Apple Safari to access the class website and enter the restricted areas, then you'll also need to view the Internet Explorer demonstration and follow its steps to install your certificate in the Windows Certificate Manager. I hope that you've found this helpful, and I hope to see lots of interactions from the classmates on the website.